All right, so they finally got the first one. Good enough to beat Jacksonville State. Barely good enough to beat Jacksonville State. Now's the real test. On the road at Notre Dame, and what on paper, in regards to name brands, would be the type game Notre Dame hosting Florida State to get us all pumped up and excited. But we know better for this Florida State edition. So we will just hope for progress out of the Seminoles. We got Jason Parker on the line from, of course, NBC6, Logan Robinson from Knoll Game Day. And this is, of course, Florida State Seminoles Live, our 74th edition. And it's great to be back. Boys, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm just wondering if that's all it took to get you back with us, is Florida State actually winning a game, is what got you to come back and join us here.
That's what it was. I figured, man, if I'm going to be on talking about this winless football team, you boys are going to have to slug it out and take the onslaught of criticism. I just can't handle it.
That's fine. And we want to apologize to the viewers. Obviously, it's a Friday that we're taping this. Normally we do it on Tuesday. But you have to understand where we're coming from. And Logan, you can attest this. It's been so long since we've had to talk about a Florida State win. We didn't know how to do that. So we had to take a few days to prepare ourselves for how do we talk about actually having a win.
I actually think I was torturing you guys.
You were.
Saying, nope, not doing it Tuesday.
You were.
Can't talk about the win.
You were. Everything okay with you, Mark? Everything good?
Everything is amazing. I am free. I'm a free man. I'm free to talk about whatever I want, and I'm free to talk college football with you two. So it's going to be a good time.
Yes.
Logan, what can we take from that game? What's the good and the bad?
Mark back. Hopefully y'all can hear me, because at this point, this will be the only drive where I probably have really bad connection. Can y'all hear me fine?
Logan.
Yeah, we're kind of stepping on each other, but that's okay.
Logan, where are you right now? What is going on in your life that you have to drive in the car? Tell us what's going on in Logan Robinson's life.
I literally just left the work building, and I am heading to a destination to hang out with friends and to enjoy this beautiful Friday that's in Tallahassee. I'm enjoying it. But the win on Saturday felt good. I was there in person. It was nice to see Mike Norvell get the first win. Beautiful night in Doak. The offense was able to do a few things. It seems like the offensive line is progressing, and that's all you need. You just need to see some kind of optimism that things are going to at least get better. And the biggest one is the offensive line. Defense still has a whole lot of work. It was a pitiful start. It's embarrassing. It was an embarrassing start, but you got to hope that maybe even the younger guys coming in competing wise will help change up that vibe, because right now Adam Fuller, once again, it's always the DC, but once again, it's the third and Fuller. It's everyone on that defensive side getting a lot of blame for these games being so close, and definitely against the Jacksonville State team. But, you finally have a starting quarterback. That is the biggest thing. It sadly took three games to figure that out, but you actually have a starting quarterback where now you can set your scheme around him, build the playbook around him. It's all been about competition and battles throughout quarterbacks, but now you have a sole starting quarterback, which I think is huge, and it gives Dillingham and Mike Norvell, who are two really smart coaches, to really build something around him and have a solidified guy. So I think that's a big thing. And he's pretty much your fourth running back. You have three running backs that I think bring different kind of attributes. And I think Toa Philly is your pure future running back, but Webb and also Corbin bring in their own capabilities. But look at Jordan Travis. That's another quarterback. He has great eyes, great vision, great speed. And that's nice to have another running back there that can also throw the football, which we were all shocked to see on Saturday.
Logan, just don't crash on the way to your destination. That's all I'm going to ask you right now. But I'm really glad Logan did not gloss over the fact that first quarter and a half was beyond embarrassing. Florida State should be embarrassed to have been down 21-7. Tate Rodemaker throwing a pick six on his second pass attempt of that ball game, and then eventually being replaced by Jordan Travis. And we'll talk about that as the hour goes along here. But let's take it for what it was. The win is a win. Florida State got the first win of the Mike Norvell era, and now it's time to turn the focus towards what could be the second embarrassing blowout win in primetime television of the season this week against Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm. It feels so good to be back on this channel. I will have to say, Mark, we went through hell on that channel. We took it. We even did an instant reaction after the Miami game on the Miami channel. So it just feels really good to look at the chat and see all the Florida State fans in there. And we've missed you all too, just to throw it out there.
Yeah, let's thank Logan again for that drunk idea at 1 o'clock in the morning after the Miami game. Hey, let's do an instant recap.
Almost 200 viewers, live viewers. Come on.
Oh man, there's like 6,000 views on that video.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, because nothing enjoyed my life than talking about that 52-10 loss. Thanks, Logan.
I'm going to confess right now that I didn't need to switch channels on you guys. I just wanted to really test your loyalty, and I wanted to test whether you guys were up to the challenge and could just take on any onslaught of criticism, just trash talking constantly. You guys met the challenge, no
Thanks,
doubt.
bud.
You guys thrived in it.
Yeah, thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Never give up.
How about if we don't do that again, okay? How about if we just stay on
I'll do my best.
How about we just stay there? Okay.
I will try not to have somebody put a mandate on me that I cannot post videos for 28 days.
Don't you
that
hate
would be
people?
good.
Don't you hate when people do that? It sucks.
I do. I hate them.
So what can we take from last week? Man, I thought Logan was on point with that analysis. He pretty much went through every positional unit, broke it down, took the angles. We got Jordan Travis now as the starting quarterback. So do we both feel good about that situation?
I feel good that Jordan Travis is the starting quarterback. First of all, let's be honest, and a little sarcasm here. First of all, I think we're all happy that we know that Jordan Travis can actually throw the ball. Jordan Travis can actually complete a pass. And yes, the touchdown pass to Keyshawn Helton was a little underthrown, but he still got it there. He did his job through a lot of short passes, got the ball down the field, and did what he needed to do. He's not the high-powered quarterback. He doesn't have the arm of James Blackman, but he's able to get the job done. So I'm happy that he will be coming in. He's going to get the start coming up Saturday against Notre Dame. What I don't like is the path that it took us to get to that point. I don't like the fact that you started Tate Rodemaker. He throws a pick six on his second attempt of the game. And now essentially, and I'm going to be the Debbie Downer that Logan likes to call me here at times here, but you've essentially now gone to your third quarterback of the season, and you've kind of tainted both James Blackman and Tate Rodemaker at this point. So if things go downhill against Notre Dame, which, let's be honest, they could, what's your option after that? Is Chuba Purdy ready? Do you turn it back over to James Blackman, which then I feel like you go a lot back into what we did last season, where it was going back and forth between James Blackman and Alex Hornibrook. That's my one issue there. So my situation is, I would say just go with Jordan Travis. I feel like you have to play him no matter what. If we get blown out by 60, or if we pull off the upset against Notre Dame, I feel like Jordan Travis has to be your starting quarterback from this point on.
Yeah, no, I don't want to even really think about anybody behind it. And I don't think this team, if they keep on thinking about, oh, maybe what about if we can put Chuba Purdy in there? I feel like this season, that's it. It's screwed. You got to focus on one guy here on out. You really don't need – I mean, Purdy's still coming back from a not a great upper body injury. We saw what Tate Rodemaker has, and it's not phenomenal. You don't get much of a better product than having Blackman in there. Be able to sit back, build pretty much your scheme around a guy that, showed to you on Saturday that he can indeed throw the ball. He doesn't have the arm strength as Blackman, but he can take care of things. He can make reads, and he can get out of the pocket, and not only just get out of the pocket and throw the ball away, but he can try to go fight and be aggressive to get that first down. And that's something most certainly you're going to have to need on Saturday. And one of the most impressive things to me about Jordan Travis is whenever I was listening to Mike Norvell, or it might have been Dillingham, it was a post-game interview, and they said that Jordan Travis only took, during that week, he was still lingering from an injury from the week before. He only had 20 snaps during that week of practice, only 20 snaps, and look what he did on that Saturday. And he played great. I mean, he was a manager on the field, and that's what you need. You just need to have some drives and actually spend more time on that field, so then the defense can get some rest. And it was good to see. We just haven't really seen that in a while. I know it's Jacksonville State, blah, 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 but fans need to understand to take the, the positives away and try to keep supporting the team. And you got to take anything you can get. Definitely the offensive line looking a little bit smoother too.
Logan, you were in the stadium on Saturday. What was the reaction? Obviously, it's a smaller crowd. whatnot with social distancing and whatnot. What was the reaction when Tate threw the pick six? Was there kind of a dejected?
That was right in our end zone because I was sitting up with my dad, and that was thrown right there, and it was just a really bad play on Tate's part, the young freshman. But I mean, I just kind of went and looked at my dad, and I was like, oh no, because I didn't really know fully if Jordan Travis was going to be able to play in this game because we had heard some rumors that he was still coming back from an injury that was bothering him. So I thought Florida State was going to be in some trouble here, and I never saw James Blackman really, after coming out of the tunnel, really grab his helmet throughout the whole rest of the day. So it didn't seem like there was going to be any chance of him playing. So I don't know. It was everybody was kind of worried at that point, and it was a good surprise to see Jordan Travis go in there and throw the ball. I mean, he had to. It was going to be for the rest of the game. We got Jay Redmaker gets pulled, and I think this offense can be pretty special with the running back unit they have too. That had a really good game too. It could be special moving forward.
Can you keep your eyes on the road, please? Keep your eyes on the road.
I'm at a stoplight.
Please.
I'm at a stoplight here.
We have rules here in Florida. Keep your eyes on the road.
We're safe. I promise. I don't.
I got Mark with the sunset out of his eyes like he's the David Hasselhoff music video. I got you driving. What's going on here?
It's safe. It's beautiful here.
We're back in whatever fashion.
Yeah.
We got Logan in the car. We got me with the sun bouncing off my forehead. Whatever it is, we're here.
Yes.
I got the spear with the bag head over it, waiting to come back next week if we lose to Notre Dame. I haven't thrown the bag away yet, fans. Don't worry. It may come back next week, depending on the outcome.
I would like to see that, honestly.
No, you don't.
No, please no. But yeah, I mean you also got to think Florida State was on a 4-game losing streak from starting last year. I wonder how that affects them getting a win. Does that kind of, Jason, do you feel, I mean, this is all just theoretically just thinking in your brain, but do you think getting a win like that kind of scrapes off all that crap that they had on them and maybe got rid of that losing disease? Do you think that kind of makes them, I don't know.
I think it helps to get the win. Yes. I think we have to be honest about it, though. It's the win against Jacksonville State. It's a win against a team you're supposed to beat, and you weren't supposed to look that bad early on. I think you have to look at the positives there. We talked about this. Lawrence Toafili looked amazing at running back. Jordan Travis had a very good day at quarterback. So I think you have to look at those positives. Mm-hmm. From here, the question has to be, and let's talk about the Notre Dame game as an example. Florida State's a 3-touchdown underdog. A lot of experts say Florida State has no chance in hell to go up to South Bend and pull off a win. The question is going to be, if Florida State loses and then comes back down 1-3, then you have games coming up against North Carolina, Louisville, a bye week, and then a Pitt team who's currently one of the surprise stories right now in the ACC. Can Florida State turn it around in those games and be a respectable 4-3 going into that last part of the season? And I know a lot of the haters here are going to say, no, Florida State's going to go 1-10. Florida State sucks, blah, blah, blah. Well, first of all, Miami's going to get blown up by Clemson tomorrow. We'll talk about that as the hour goes on. So you're going to be brought back down to reality as well. But that's going to be the question. When does Florida State turn the corner? Does it happen at some point this season? Is this season a lost season? There still are plenty of questions left with 8 ball games left for Florida State in 2020.
Well, to me, before Logan jumps on that, it's not just the result of the win and the loss, because most likely this is a game that I'm going to say that Florida State's got about a 10% chance of winning, something in that range, 10 to 15% chance of winning. So, but there are different wins and losses, and there are no moral victories. But when you're building a program, there actually are moral victories, or there's at least an evaluation of the team and the progress. And if you guys walk out of South Bend losing a Miami-type game 52-10, you're both going to feel one way. Mm-hmm. And if you lose 31-27, even though it's still a loss, you guys are going to feel a lot different about this football team.
No, I'm the notion where unless we come out with a win, I feel like this is going to be a lot like we were last season. Where no, I know, Mark, what you're going to say. If we lose 31-27 to Notre Dame, to me, a loss is a loss no matter what.
I understand in the standings it is,
Are you back?
Yeah.
If Notre Dame is the team we think they are, they're going to go 10-1 or 9-2 this year. Okay, right?
Mark is back to interrupting you, ladies and gentlemen. I
Yeah,
was finished.
that's what I came back to do. I've got to make up for like 3 weeks of
You
not
did.
interrupting you. So, Jason, just follow me here, please.
Well-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I interrupted, but I just can't believe it as an ardent of Florida State graduate, alumni, and just a sports observer. Let's take it outside of college football. Just, yes, the wins and losses are all that matter toward playing for a championship. But especially in the position that Florida State's in, as Logan just pointed out, 4 consecutive losses going back to last season, it's also understanding who you're playing and understanding grading yourself against that opponent. And I got to think that if they go up to South Bend and they put up I'm not even talking 31-27. If they go up there and they stay within 2 scores and it's a winnable game with 5 minutes left, it's 38-27, that I would think that you guys would take some encouragement from that. If Notre Dame turns out to be the team we think they are, and that's a 9 or 10 win team.
But my point is this, because I look at it this way: we're going to lose tomorrow to Notre Dame. Spoiler alert for our prediction period at the end of the show. I think we lose to Notre Dame. The questions, I know, Logan's shocked over there, driving to Tallahassee. My question is going to be at this point, though, is the upcoming games. I don't think North Carolina is as good a team as everyone says they are. Is North Carolina going to be the surprise game that Florida State wins? Is it going to be on the road at Louisville? Is it going to be on the road against the Pitt team, who may lose a couple more games before they come into Tallahassee on November 7th? That's going to be my question for Florida State at this point, because I've seen Florida State go down this road before. I saw Florida State get spanked by Notre Dame in 2018, then have to beat Boston College by 1 point just to be in the conversation of bowl eligibility before getting spanked by Florida for the first losing season since 1976. I've seen this story play out before. That's why, to me, anything less, there's no such thing as a quality loss this week against Notre Dame, no matter the point differential, no matter how they play. It's either a win or a loss. There are only 2 outcomes possible for this. There's no such thing as a quality loss. That's just my opinion. Logan can have a different opinion. You can have a different opinion. But to me, this is a Florida State team who the time period of building is gone. The time period of building left when you get upset by Georgia Tech. The time period of building left when you got blown up by 42 points to Miami. The time period of rebuilding left when you're down 21-7 late in the second quarter to an FCS opponent in Jacksonville State. All those rebuilding times went out the window. Now's the time where it's either wins or losses, and there cannot be any more moral victories. Those left a long time ago. We're not the Miami Marlins basking in the glory of a participation playoff appearance. We are a team that needs to be the Florida State like we used to be, where we are winning championships and playing for championships, and anything less is unacceptable.
I'm taking 31-27 any day of the week.
Of course you would. You went to Channel 5. That's fine. I get it.
I would, no. I mean, are you kidding? That would be a 4th quarter game. That would be huge on national television. I mean, look at 2018. It wasn't a game after the first quarter. I mean, I would take this game going into the 3rd quarter. I mean, at 31-27, sign me up. I would think about 90% of FSU fans would take that. I mean, that shows a huge amount of progression. That also shows at least maybe a little bit of defense. Maybe offense is able to score points on their defense. I mean, I would take that just to show that there is some steps being. I mean, most certainly I would take it any day of the week. I don't really need to explain it. At least where FSU is at right now, which right now we're not expecting them to win 5 games, maybe not even 4. I would take a 31-27 against a number 5 ranked opponent in the country any day of the week with the state that Florida State's in right now.
But here's the biggest question that comes into play. If Florida State loses 31-27, it's a game into the 4th quarter. Florida State's in it for most of the game against Notre Dame. Is the comment in the media from the folks at the Worldwide Leader, NBC Sports, ABC, CBS, Fox Sports, all the rest of them, is the comments going to be, man, is Florida State better than their 1-3 record? Or is it going to be, man, is Notre Dame worse than their undefeated record? That's the question. People are going to give Florida State the credit of playing a better game if they come out and play a decent ball game against Notre Dame. It's going to be, why did Notre Dame let Florida State stay in the ball game?
Big game. James Coleman's with us.
Hold on. New King God, when we beat Clemson, I want to see Jason do a real push-up for every point we score to get a Miami symbol. First of all, it's symbol tatted, LOL. Okay. First of all, you're not going to beat Clemson. I think you guys cover the spread. I think Miami loses by less than 14 points. They're an underdog, but you're not going to beat Clemson. Mark that down right now. Miami loses to Clemson tomorrow. Cam Underwood is to say to you, everyone can call me a hater. Dennis Wilson, who barely probably graduated high school, the rest of them, Miami is losing to Clemson tomorrow. Write that down. Write it down. Just like the Heat are going to lose tonight to the Lakers, just like the Marlins got swept by the Braves, it's going to be a bad sports week for Miami teams. Mark that down.
I'll try my second introduction of Big Game James Coleman. Here he is, fifth quarter college football man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm tired. My bad. I kind of forgot. I took a nap because I'm doing all this planning for this. I got to stuff 50 more book bags. We're gonna have like 350 that we're giving away tomorrow. But like, I woke up. I was like, oh crap! This I got Mark Rogers on the Real channel. So let me hop on this one right here.
Yeah.
James heard me ranting. It's like, what the hell am I doing here? Let me get out of here. That's fine, James.
Logan's pulling his best me impersonation.
I know. I'm trying to. I just don't have my cigar with me, though, James.
He's driving.
I wanted to bring up some because I saw in the comments you had up here, Mark, and I'm sure James would like to comment too, and also Jason. But on Saturday, whenever Jerrion Jones had just a silly mistake and a personal foul, I loved seeing Mike Norvell go after him. I mean, that's something that we really haven't seen in a good amount of years. Guys being held accountable, where we were used to seeing tag and kind of going, tapping him on the helmet. We saw it with number 5 last year, where he could do a mistake 1, 2, 3 times week after week, and it'd just be a tap on the helmet, maybe sit down and drive. Then we'll see you up next. Jerrion Jones got it into him, or Norvell just laid it down on him, which I think is something that I think FSU fans are kind of like, oh, I kind of missed that. And it's something where I think there's some growth there. Hopefully you'll see it, but guys are just getting chewed out. And I don't know, I kind of miss that kind of stuff.
Well, it's funny you say that, because that was the big thing that came out on the social media. It was like, yeah, that's what we want. We want people to get the accountability. I just want to know if Mike Norvell apologized for, when you look at the replay and you see that it was a flop by the guy from Jacksonville State, where the guy was not decked.
Was it?
It was clearly a flop. The player from Jacksonville State flopped, and Jerrion Jones, you could tell, was like, oh, man, what am I getting called for? And he shouldn't have gotten called. It was a clear flop on the guy from Jacksonville State. So I just want to know if Mike Norvell apologized with the same passion that he yelled at the player, that fans like you and media members like you and others were sitting there saying, yeah, that's the passion that we missed. The same people who supported him when we lost to Georgia Tech.
If you don't stop that right now, you don't stop that.
I think it's time for people to stop like reaching and looking for things, and we get it. Everybody has different personality traits, and if you're not a guy who's Bobby wasn't an in-your-face guy. Bobby never cussed me out. Bobby never pulled me by my collar. Never did that. Bobby was very much so Vito Corleone. If you're familiar with the Godfather novels, the book is much better than the movie, and the movie is amazing. Well, 2 of them are amazing. The third one, they were just trying to get money. But Vito got his hands dirty, but he wasn't braggadocious. He wasn't in your face about it. That's why he had Clemenza. That's why he had Luca Brasi. That's why he had all these other people. Somebody has to be the guy that goes and repairs and makes sure things are smoothed over. Somebody's got to be the guy that tries to do it the right diplomatic way. Mickey Andrews was Bobby's goon. Now Mickey was going to cuss you out, and it was Mickey's defense, so that made sense. Billy Sexton cursed me out numerous times, especially my freshman sophomore year. By my junior year, I made more plays. I didn't get cursed out as much. And actually, one time against Florida, I just was out of it. I missed the block, and Billy cursed me slap out. And I went over to the sideline dejected, and Bobby came over and was just like, listen, Coley, what I need you to do, I need you to run full speed. Now, son, now this is important. And I want you to go hit one of those guys in the blue jersey. You pick one. I need you to run full speed and hit one of those guys in the blue jersey, and that's how you block somebody. He wasn't very a lot of brain, but he came and picked me up. Now I saw that to say Jimbo cussed people out. Jimbo, that was his thing. If that's Mike Norvell's style, that's great. That doesn't mean coaching. What I see coaching is guys who don't make stupid plays, guys who consistently do that. But being held accountable is a guy like Jerry Jones, which is to me is worse than him getting the penalty. Is he's consistently getting beat, like pull his ass off the field. That's coaching. That's accountability. But at the same time, I know that there is a look and things have to picture well. And I know if that's what did the fan base to get behind him and give him all the time that he needs that's necessary to be able to flip the culture, then God bless. But that wasn't one of the things that I liked about Norvell from the Jacksonville State. There were a lot of things that I did like, but I know a lot of people who did like those things.
And let's not forget that without Jerry Jones, we beat Georgia Tech. Jerry Jones was the defensive back who blew his coverage that gave up the passing touchdown to Georgia Tech. He's also the man who missed the block that would have allowed Asante Samuels to get a pick six on his first interception.
Whoa. I'm not going to blame Jerry Jones for Asante letting the fat-ass offensive lineman tackle him. Don't get anywhere near the offensive lineman, and that doesn't happen. He could have made the block, but he probably thought, hey, this fat, sloppy person isn't going to catch the fast big game. I'm going to go to the next guy. That's not his fault.
Big game. Come on now. But that's my point. But my point is this. I get where Logan is coming from, and I do understand that there is that need for the people expect, because Jimbo Fisher did it and Jimbo Fisher won the national title and we have all that success recently under Jimbo, that everyone thinks that's what we need. But James hit the nail right on the head. That's not what every coach is. Everyone expects to be, it's that Nick Saban mentality. Yell and scream, show your pound your chest, show who you are. Not every coach is going to be like that. All right, and that's not who Willie Taggart was. That's not who Bobby Bowden was. That's not who a lot of successful coaches are. Some coaches are like that. Some coaches aren't. If that's what you need and that's what you want out of Mike Norvell, great. He showed it, but I just want to know if he apologized to Jerry Jones for being wrong. That's all.
I doubt that.
Also, Emmett Rice missed a pick six, and also Tryon Terry dropped 6. So not all on Jones on that one, but I don't know. I just like it. I mean, that's like a personal thing for me.
Wow.
And I've always liked this since I was younger, and I just like being coached that way. And I don't know. I find it, if I'm getting cussed out and stuff, I mean, I don't know, it kind of wakes me up and it makes me realize faster and some people don't like it, but I don't know. It's just something that we haven't seen in a while. And I think it's just something interesting to look at.
Logan, I'll call you and curse you out before the Notre Dame game. That's fine. I just want to know why. I just want to know why you're blaming Emmett Rice, the guy from Miami, but you're giving Jerry Jones, the man from Mississippi, a pass. What is your hate against those of us from south of I-4? Why do you hate us so much?
I don't hate anybody. Maybe it's just maybe you. That's just you.
You hate Jewish people. I can turn this around on you. I got this. Logan, I got this on you, buddy. Don't worry.
I'm letting Jerry slide on it. Obviously, he's not had a great season. I mean, someone to talk about is Asante Samuel Jr., who's absolutely lighting it up. And who did I talk about at the beginning of the season? Who did I talk about this whole spring and summer and everybody? Asante Samuel Jr., baby. I said he's going to be one of the top corners in the country right now, leading the country in interceptions, and then also the top-graded slot cover guy right now.
I will admit I was wrong, and I said he needed to prove it. And so far, he has proven it. 3 interceptions through 3 games. I will give him credit. He has done his job. Now, I will say it like this. I need him to do his job against a big-name opponent. He didn't do anything against Miami. I need him to do something this week against Notre Dame. I need him to do something in games coming up. He's going to have chances against Notre Dame, North Carolina, Louisville coming up. He's got a stretch coming up. I need him to show up at big games.
I mean, in his defense, nobody did anything against Miami. So, I mean, I don't think the defense got off the bus. But it would be great to see. It would be great to see these guys actually show up against a Division I opponent. It was great that they performed well in the second half of the Jacksonville State game. It'll be nice to see them come out the gate. And I'm just still scratching my head this whole week. This Jordan Travis thing has really just puzzled me. Like Jordan was injured after Miami, but he wasn't injured during fall camp. Like, and when I watched him play early in the Miami game and other games, like they never even attempted to let him throw the ball. Like I thought he just physically couldn't. I mean, when he did throw it, it didn't look great. But like I'm just trying to figure out how our offensive staff can see this and not test this. When if you knew JB1 wasn't it, you knew Tate Rodemaker. I've never seen it. Tate Rodemaker is damaged goods. I hate to throw a kid away, but if you're spooked against Jacksonville State as a true freshman, and you got Chuba Purdy coming in, Luke Altmaier, you might as well go ahead and just hit the portal, bro. It's not gonna. You'll never see the field unless it's blowout game, your fifth year, and that's unfortunate. But like, if you have to get that vibe as a coach. That's what terrifies me is that our coaches really aren't really couldn't see that. But I like the energy that Jordan Travis gave, and Jordan Travis can keep this defense on their toes, and our defense can stop playing, 5 yards deep, 5-6 yards off on 2nd and 2, inside the 5-yard line. That'd be great.
James, question for you from a player perspective, and we talked a little about this earlier. What do you think the mindset is right now of a Tate Rodemaker and James Blackman? Because now we've got Jordan Travis. This is our third starting quarterback through 4 games this season. Are they both in a mental spot right now, do you think, where Florida State can still rely on them if need be? Or is Tate Rodemaker's mentality gone for the rest of the 2020 season? And what about James Blackman?
I think Blackman's in a spot where if you because even if Blackman, which his career is probably done here, even if Blackman wants to go somewhere else, he still has to be able to put on a good show, put on a good front, and I just think he is what he is. Tate, on the other hand, no, you can't. Like his eyes, the opponents are better than what you're going to see. Even their second string guys, for the most part, top to bottom, and he just like I've never seen that before. I've never seen being gunshot like that before. Either he was grossly unprepared or he just really gave off a vibe that he was ready, because it's apparent that he wasn't ready.
Nope. I was shocked. I was telling Jason earlier, I was shocked that it took 3 games to figure out that Jordan Travis can throw the football. I was a little shocked at that. I mean, I think it shocked a lot of FSU fans. Obviously, he doesn't have the arm strength as Blackman, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, he was able to manage the field and take drives, which we haven't seen in so long. I think that's huge, at least definitely putting points on the board, but maybe even giving your time for the defense. Obviously, Fuller's is taking a big heat, as he should, most certainly. But also give the defense some time to sit back, maybe look at some things that the coaches are seeing upstairs, analysts, and try to figure out a way to compete on defense, because it's been terrible. But Jordan Travis is actually managing drives.
Florida State football talk, usually on Tuesday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Had to make an adjustment this week, but we should be free to roll on Tuesday nights. You got Jason Parker next to me, NBC 6. Right below me, of course, is Florida State fullback 2002 to 2005. Big game James Coleman, 5th quarter college football. Catch him right there, as well as Noel Game Days Logan Robinson.
Jordan Travis completed 6 passes last season? What the hell did that happen?
No clue.
Well, 3 were against Alabama State and 2 were against Arizona State. So, okay, that makes sense.
This commit that came into the fold here this week looks like a pretty good prospect out of Orlando. Chambray Jackson, 17th rated strong side defensive end, 6'2", 230.
Yeah, Logan, what do we know about this guy? Because he kind of came in a little surprised. But what do you think about him?
He's a big cat. I don't keep up crazy with recruiting stuff, but I listen to our guy Nate, and seems like a solid kid. Alabama was kind of in the mix there a little bit, and they were trying to sway him over. But Chambray has been very communicated with a lot of the commits and at Florida State, and he's a guy. The best thing probably about him, everybody's now worried about, all right, he's a 4-star, but what do you really get out of him? But if you go look at film, he's a guy that doesn't quit on plays, and that's something that if you look now at the current state of Florida State Florida State's defensive line. That has been a problem. I mean, look, some people are posting clips of 16, even 21, a few others on the defensive line where, there's not a lot of competitive drive. So if you're looking at Chambray Jackson, you look at film, I know it's just high school and blah, 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 but it's at least something a positive to look at if people are arguing about, he's just a 4-star. I mean, he's a 4-star and, blah, blah, he's got all these stars. We'll see. We'll wait until he gets here. But the best thing I think is that, he's not a guy that's quitting on plays, and he is a big boy. But he's got that competitive drive, which you really need definitely in building the trenches under Odell.
Yeah, he's actually pretty explosive off the edge. I mean, he's not a Josh Sweat or Brian Burns type defensive end, but he's definitely somewhere where we lack. We need trenches. We need renewed interest in there. And stop this BS about, like, I'm not a big proponent of everybody got to be a 4 and 5 star, but come on, man. Like, development is development. And that's what Florida State lacks, is development of heart, which is more so a culture thing, and development of talent on the field. It doesn't matter if you go get a gang of 2 stars that are Rudy, that have hearts of the fictional version of Rudy. If they're 5'8", 185-pound D tackles, they're going to get their ass whooped week in and week out. They're just going to do it with heart. A culture creates that. I said it on the radio. I mean, I've always told the story of one of my teammates, Todd Williams. When I came in, Todd, I didn't know how to play fullback. I didn't know how to run. I didn't know how to read blocks. And I kept running up on the back of offensive lineman. And Todd said, "You got one more time to run up behind me like that, or I'm going to punch you square in your chest." Well, now Todd punched through an ATM at the Governor Square Mall. Like, fist went through the ATM. It's probably still there. That ATM right across from finish line, if that's still there. That ATM had to be replaced at one point because an offensive lineman, Todd Williams, played for the Tennessee Titans from Bradenton, Florida, God rest his dead, punched through it. I had to make a choice. It wasn't that I was afraid of Todd. It's just that, do I want to force the issue and fight a dude who can punch ATM, or would I rather make the play? And making the play was just a little bit easier than trying to fight a guy who like that. There is nobody on that roster. You can't 3-star your way through that. That's either in you or not, and you can't forget what Deion Sanders said. You can't watch practice film and figure that shit out. The only way you know is when they get there. Do you see Nick Saban saying, "Well, I'm going to go get nothing but 2 and 3 stars"? But no, Nick Saban established a culture of winners, and that's what and that's the standard. It's like, don't be a loser just because the pretty girl broke your heart doesn't mean you start dating ugly chicks. Losers do that. I'm going to always go after the finest woman that I can get because that's what I like. I approach everything in life the same way, recruiting too. Like, if you don't approach life like that, I don't want you coaching, I don't want you cheering, and I don't want you playing for my alma mater. Sorry.
Can we completely take a moment to let's take a timeout from talking Florida State football for just 1 second here, because I think we're glossing over James Coleman's point here. James, why did Todd Williams punch an ATM machine?
The ATM ate his card, and Todd came from true poverty, and that's all he knew. Like, that was his ownership. Like, that was his card. Todd's story was blindside before blindside. It's actually worse than blindside.
Is he from Bradenton?
He's from Bradenton. It's actually darker than that. But Bobby gave him a chance. He ended up being a starter. Really did some good things. Played in the NFL. Unfortunately, he died in his sleep about 5-6 years ago. But again, it was not just Todd. It was guys like Brett Williams who was a badass on the field. And if you didn't have those guys, you had guys like Michael Boulware who would hit you and quote Bible scriptures, which really messed your mentals up. When somebody lays you out and says, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me," and you're like, that's not where this is supposed to be happening right now. But even when you go back further, you got guys like, if you haven't, Marvin Jones, who I love and admire, who is crazy. He's like really crazy if you follow him. But like, again, those are the guys that come in. You got to establish that. You don't go and establish that. Now, if they're a 3-star and they have that and it works out and you develop them, fine. That's your Telvin Smith of the world. But more likely than not, it's going to be that alpha male that's a 4 and a 5-star. And what you got to do is just not cater and make them turn into prima donnas. Don't make them your friends. Let them know like Bobby is loved and revered, but not for 1 minute did I ever believe Bobby Bowden was my friend. But I also never feared Bobby. I never felt like Bobby wasn't approachable. Like Mickey, for all the cussing out that he did, I knew at lunch I could go holler at Mickey. It just probably wasn't the best to holler at Mickey. But when Mickey crossed on that football field, I knew it was business. He was crazy. And I don't see, again, those are, it wasn't just the coach, the head coach. It was everybody had those issues. So right now, you got to see better player development, and I got to see more of that, the fire in the assistant coaches as well. Like right now, I'm watching Fuller, who I've talked to Fuller, and he has the intensity, but I don't see that intensity on the sideline nor in his play calling. So like those are the things that shake me up. And recruiting 3-stars ain't gonna fix the problem, dog. Recruiting if Mike recruit a bunch of 3-stars, Mike is gonna be watching Florida State in 4 years at another school. Maybe he'll go back to Memphis or somewhere else, but you got to be able to eventually get the big dogs to play with the big dogs in this conference.
Jason, real quick. Sorry, I don't want to break it because I got to go. I got to leave at 5:45, but I just want to get my. I know. I said 5:45. I'm getting texts. I'm getting calls. I'm screwed. But I just want to give. Huh?
Tell your women to hold up. You got more important.
No, they're not. The women come later tonight. Not during the daytime. I get to drink with the boys.
That's my guy, Logan.
But I just want to get my prediction real quick because I know y'all are giving y'all's in just about 5 minutes or so. But I'm going I'm going Notre Dame 38, Florida State 21. If I see a competitive drive, some energy coming, that's great. If younger guys need to be thrown in there, yes. I don't think Dix. I want to see more of Lundy. I think Lundy, actually, I was getting to watch him on Saturday, and I really like his physicality, even at, of course, at fullback, but also I'd like to see him some more at linebacker. If that's the case, if he doesn't need to be in there for this game, so be it. But I want to see some more of the young cats at linebacker if we're just going to keep on trotting out some guys that we're just not seeing any kind of progression. That's the max that they're at. But I want to see some kind of competitive drive and actually make this a game going into the second half at least. If there's a game going in the second half, that's a big upgrade. I mean, it's sad. I mean, it sucks to say, but that is an upgrade that, I think a lot of FSU fans will take.
And real quick, just to piss off the Miami fans in here, just give us your Miami Clemson prediction. I bet, do you think Clemson wins?
It all depends on how much Dabo wants to score. So, and he likes to run it up too. So I'm going to go Clemson 58, Miami 35.
Okay, 58-35.
Okay. Yeah. I think Miami will score a little bit. I do think so.
Logan, go tell your lady you said what's up, buddy. Go ahead.
Hey, enjoy the weekend, guys. A lot of good football on. I'm excited.
I know.
Great weekend for sports.
Have a big time, man.
See you guys.
See ya.
So just to touch on what James said a little bit, I'm going to kind of use James's analogy and kind of see if I can make it modify what I'm going to say. The pretty girls are the recruits from the state of Florida. I'm happy that Florida State is still actually got a recruit from the state of Florida. The ugly girls are the recruits from, with all due respect, states like Alabama, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Missouri, areas like that. The fact that Florida State needs to, and that's one of the problems we've had, is we stopped recruiting South Florida, Central Florida, Jacksonville area. Florida State needs to concentrate on getting the sexy recruits from the state of Florida. Florida State needs to get, I'm sorry, Jalen Knighton was a Florida State recruit, and where is he? He's playing backfield for the University of Miami. Jeff Sims was all about Florida State, and then he came into Florida State and led Georgia Tech to a victory in the first game of this season. Florida State needs to stay home, get the sexy recruits from the state of Florida. So getting a 4-star recruit from Orlando is a hell of a start. So shout out. It's a good first step.
Well, there is a difference between recruiting Louisiana and Mississippi and recruiting Missouri.
There's a difference between recruiting everywhere outside of South Florida, Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville. James Coleman, back me up on this one. There's a huge difference. If you can win recruiting in the state of Florida.
Yeah, you want to own your area, especially if you're in Florida. Absolutely.
But I also
think the best state in the country.
Here's the difference too, is that, and I was talking with name drop, was talking with Peter Ward. He calls me after every game. We vibe a little bit.
Wow, we're gonna name drop Peter Ward.
That's a name drop.
Yeah.
Wow, really, James?
The difference between FSU even in the Jimbo era and the Dynasty era is that when they did go out of state, when they did go to South Carolina, when they did go to Louisiana, when they did go to New Jersey, they weren't getting a 3-star. They were getting the best prospect from out of that state or a top 10 prospect. And that's where we kind of, again, there's nothing wrong with finding the needle in the haystack, finding the diamond in the rough. I'm all for that. But if there's a 3-star wide receiver in actually, you know what? I'm going to bring them apples to apples comparison. There was a 3-star linebacker out of Louisiana that Florida State was going after heavily. They were in the mix with such powerhouses as Memphis and a few other schools. There was also a 4-star linebacker that was out of St. Thomas Aquinas. He was transferring to St. Thomas Aquinas that ended up committing to Michigan, who really wanted to go to Florida State. We were going heavily after the 3-star out of Louisiana, harder than we were going for the 4-star out of the state of Florida. I would take a 3-star out of the state over a 3-star out of state. Now, again, those are just some of the things that I believe, because when you don't have relationships, you're building the relationships, especially St. Thomas Aquinas, which is a powerhouse that's going to put out elite athletes every year. So that's what I mean. But really, if you're looking at it from a recruiting map, state of Florida, and particularly South Florida, I would say the Atlanta metro area, especially post-Katrina, had a lot of families relocate there. As well as the Charlotte area. They had a lot of people relocate to those areas who were from Louisiana, and the talent has gotten really, really good. When you've got schools like Westlake, you've got McDonough, you've got Marietta, you've got a lot of schools up in that area that put out some really, really good talent.
No, and James hit the nail on the head. I don't mind that we were getting guys like Myron Rule, who was the top player, 5-star guy from New Jersey. I believe it was Michael Ray Garvin. I think he was a 5-star also from New Jersey. Or when you get, Eddie Goldman, who was from the D.C. area as a 5-star, 4-star guy. It's the fact that when we're sitting here, and we've talked about this before, we're talking about getting, hey, we got a 3-star from Arizona. Hey, we got a 3-star from Alabama. Yeah, it's good that these guys want to come to Florida State. But if we're going to get 3 stars, let me get a 3-star from St. Thomas Aquinas, from Miami Central, Orlando Edgewater, Tampa Plant, schools like that, Fort Myers. If you're going to get it, because I want a 3-star or 4-star from the state of Florida, because I know these guys are better than 4 stars and 5 stars from other states. That's why it's about controlling your area, not letting these guys go to Florida, Miami, or go out of state.
So what you guys are basically saying on one level is that, the 3-star in Florida is better than, on average, the 3-star from wherever else, because at least and James can speak to this to a certain extent, because it amazes me when I hear about the 4-star in Rhode Island or the 4-star in Colorado, because I'm thinking, who are they playing against? And usually it turns out that they are that good of a player, but that's really where the scouting comes in, is that they can identify a player playing a bunch of players way below their level, but they can still identify the skill regardless of the position. As opposed to in Florida, all those dudes are playing each other constantly every game in some of those areas that are just so stockpiled with talent that, okay, is this wideout constantly burning this 4-star corner? Okay, he can play, versus some of those remote areas.
Perfect example is this. The first stint that I had at writing was with a website called Florida Varsity. It's part of the Rivals Network. They used to, it was a high school recruiting site. I was asked to watch film and give breakdowns of players. And that year, in the running backs out of the state of Florida were guys like Sony Michel, guys like Dalvin Cook. What's the running back that was at Miami? That was committed to Florida State. Him and Dalvin Cook went to the same school.
Yerby.
Yerby. So, and I had to give my top 5. And everybody ranked Sony Michel as a 5-star. And everybody had Sony Michel as the number 1 running back in the state of Florida. possibly one of the best in the country. I watched film. Sonny Michel's 1A ball, very good. A lot of tough runs, running through people, running like stuff like that. All I know is who I played with in college, and I know the color schemes. I know what blue and yellow is down in Miami. I know what orange and green is down in Miami. I know what like red and yellow is down that way. And when I'm watching him play the Booker T. Washingtons, the Miami Northwesterns, the Carroll Cities, I'm not only watching him read the hole and get 10 yards. I'm watching him actively separate from elite talent, elite speed. So when I see that, I'm like, yo, I don't give a damn what you say or who says the other kid's a 5-star. This guy's running away from cats with speed. That let me know what Dalvin Cook could do. Because if you can't separate in high school as a running back or a skill player, you're not going to separate in college. Same thing from college to the NFL. It's just the talent gets that much better. So if I can see that in the state of Florida and I know the product that we're getting, then that's it. But bigger than that, players recruit players. You go to places that you're more comfortable in. So if I have teammates that were there and my teammates are saying, yo, man, let me tell you about Coach Norvell, man. These cats over here, man, they do stuff they're winners. They do blah, blah, blah. You're getting those text messages. You're getting those things that make you want to be able to go and be a part of that. And I think that's where the other reason why you recruit your state, because you're in a fertile ground. You're in a fertile state, so you got to continue to work the land. And then again, you lean on those relationships in other states to get you the best of the best, not guys that you may have to go in and you may develop. Again, they're 3 stars that I believe are really, really dope. But there's also a reason why a lot of guys are 4 and 5-star players. And you need to flip this roster. You need guys who can come in day one and play, not guys who you have 2 to 3 years. That's the mistake that the last administration, the last coaching staff made, was trying to recruit and coach for 3 years down the road. You may not get that.
Yeah, you can look at the composition of any of the elite rosters in college football, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State down the line. And obviously with 85 scholarships and 105 players on the roster, you're going to have, even on the Alabama roster, a ton of 3-stars. But what roles are they playing on the team? That better not be your second receiver. That better not be one of the 8 starting defensive linemen that you rotate in and out. Most likely, unless they really develop, and there are obviously a ton of 3-stars that develop into tremendous players. But for the most part, yeah, your playmakers are the 4 and 5 stars on those type of teams. And then you're filling out the roster with special teams and backup players with the 3-stars.
Josh Jacobs was a 3-star. But
Sure,
Josh Jacobs ran behind a bunch of 4 and 5 stars.
Yeah.
Everybody else was
there's
a 4 or 5 star.
Tons of exceptions out there.
You use Alabama as an example. Amari Cooper. Where did Amari Cooper go to high school?
And Calvin Ridley.
Northwestern. Where did Calvin Ridley go to high school? Where did Jerry Jeudy go to high school? They both went to high school in Broward County. And Jerry Jeudy was down to Alabama and Florida State. So that's right there. Like, that's an example. You just look at it, and I'm biased more towards the South Florida recruit, because I'll sit there and say you've got, guys like, Miami Central, Miami Booker T. Washington, St. Thomas Aquinas. These guys are all playing each other in this regular season in the playoffs. It's best on best nearly every single week down here in South Florida, just like it is in Orlando, just like it is in Tampa. So you have these guys playing against each other. That's why I've always said, give me a 3-star. Give me, DeAndre Francois was a 4-star recruit out of Orlando. And aside from his off-field stuff, on the field, he was a damn good quarterback. When healthy, he was a tough-ass quarterback in 2016. When he came back in 2018, when he had an offensive line that actually blocked for him 1 or 2 plays a game, he was a damn good quarterback. These guys come in. When you get guys from the state of Florida, it's that different mentality. James Coleman was a 5-star running back, fullback, coming into Florida State, the 2002 recruiting class. He was our best fullback in that recruiting class. Look at him now.
He's a loser.
He's stuck in backpacks the greatest of ease.
Yeah, a lot of people would like to be losing in life like you, James. So
he's not losing; he's winning.
You two take off on whatever you want. I got one other thing for James, and I only have it for James because Jason, Logan, and I already addressed it off the top. And that's basically we're looking at a game in which Florida State's not expected to win. I would not be just shocked like I was the night Michael Tyson lost to Buster Douglas, but I'm not expecting a Florida State win. I think they've got about a 10 to 15% shot of winning in South Bend. So that being said, what do you want to see out of this team, James? Even if they can't come away with a shocking win, that's going to make you feel better about the progress.
What I need to see is competing. Even if Notre Dame really comes in and dominates and shows that they have the game under control, but in that fourth quarter, you see guys putting up drives, because that at least makes me feel comfortable about Syracuse, Boston College, games like that. But right now, I have no real faith. I saw a great half against Jacksonville State, and that's what you're supposed to do. You should have a team like Jacksonville State only score 3 points in a half, and you score, what was it? Was it 30-something points or something like that? That should be easy. That should be expected. But what I want to see is, can we put together route combinations or competent play calling that makes Jordan Travis look like a quarterback? Can our defense actually, as it's a quote, what my high school coach used to tell me, at least pinch the bitch, like at least try, go out there and strike, like don't sit back and let them pick you apart. I need to see a total team effort from coaching to players. It is clear that these guys really talk with the best of them, but they're not bought in. They don't have faith. I need to see faith. And I need to not see these guys develop self-esteem by beating up on the sisters of the poor after they was whooping their ass. So what I need to do is see, I want to see the fullback actually block a real linebacker that everybody wanted. I want to see our line block a defensive line that's going to be that has some players that will probably play in the NFL. I want to see Timmer and Terry not get jammed up by a DB for the first week. I want to see if he's really an NFL wide receiver, or if that was just all play, or if this is just because right now this Florida State team looks like they're that looks like my son on Halloween for the first 4 years of his life, wearing the Florida State jersey with the little helmet, and they just put stickers on it. And they're playing dress up, and they look good, and they look nice. But at the end of the day, when it's really time to play a football game, you don't want a bunch of kids out there with the Halloween Florida State costume on. I need them to go up there with the real stuff. So I don't really believe that's going to happen. I believe Notre Dame's a better team and a better coach team with a better culture. And if Mike's not careful, though he still will get his time, he's going to have to worry about people recruiting against him, saying that he's in over his head.
Can we talk about James's analogy game today?
It's pretty phenomenal.
The hot girl analogy, the analogy of a 4-year-old with the Halloween outfit. Todd Williams, God rest his soul, punching an ATM machine. Your games have been on point today, James.
Oh man, I appreciate it. It took a little bit of time off, man. I got to come in strong, man. Especially when we on the real channel.
You played like the second half against Jacksonville State. That's what I like.
I'm also smirking because Luke Walker has pointed out that he's never heard anyone call him Michael Tyson. You know what, Luke Walker? In 35 years of talking about Mike Tyson, as soon as that came out of my mouth, I thought the same thing. Why did I just call him Michael Tyson?
Listen. We all can agree that he's going to kick the holy hell out of Roy Jones Jr. come November, right?
When is November 11th?
It's November 28th. It's Thanksgiving weekend. It's trust me, get on pay-per-view. He's going to kick the holy hell out of him, right? I think Tyson's going to kick the holy hell out of Roy Jones.
I'm with it. I think he is.
Mark, who you got?
Mike Tyson, 52-year-old Mike Tyson.
I mean, Roy Jones is 50, I think, right?
Okay.
Let me put you this way. A member of Roy Jones' family, who I went to Florida State with, who obviously they're from the Milton, Pensacola area, after this fight was announced, I texted him, went, really? And he goes, yeah, it's going to get ugly. Like, even his own family, even Roy Jones' own family knows that this is going to get ugly really quickly.
We'll see. I like
right.
violence, so
I
Really,
had no
Luke?
idea the fight was taking place, so
Really?
you caught me off guard on my boxing analysis there.
Luke Walker's going with the Roy Jones Jr. with his one rap song, Can't Be Touched. Really? We're going with that reference. Solid reference, Luke Walker. I'm going to give you credit for that one.
Well
Did
done.
I do scores? Did you gotta do scores, right?
Do we
Let's
have
do some
to?
scores. We had 38-21 out of Logan. No moral victories, Jason. You said it. What do you got?
No. Let James go first because I can't.
42-14. They're covering, man.
I want to. I think Florida State. I want to have the confidence like Logan. I want to have the confidence that Florida State plays better than what everyone's expecting. I think they will have some positives going for them coming off that Jacksonville State game. I think there's going to be some motivation early on. I worry that once they fall behind by 2 touchdowns, that it's just going to be the Hindenburg just going straight down from that point on. So while I want to think it's going to be like Logan, I think it'll end up being more like James. I'm going to say probably – I'm going to say 40 Notre Dame 42, Florida State 20. I think Notre Dame just goes over and covers it. So I'm going to say 42-20. That's in my head. I'm going to say 42-20. In my heart, I'm going to say Florida State 31-24. But my heart was wrong on the Florida State-Miami game, so go with my head on that one.
I'm going to say I've got to feed my family, so everybody join me on Patreon, where I've got my college football predictions right there each and every week. We are 27-17 against the spread. So join us. There it is right there.
Can we also, while we're here with Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, James, let's piss off some Miami fans. Clemson Miami prediction. Go ahead.
$52-20.
You think it's going to be that high score? Damn. You think Clemson takes them to the lead by 32 points?
No, I think Clemson hands it pretty well, and then when they put their backups in, Miami's got some weapons, but I think Miami's problem is, this is truth. They don't have a lot of cornerbacks right now, and what Clemson has is the wide receivers to be able to exploit it. And Miami's offensive line, while much improved, has not faced a defensive line like Clemson's yet. So Clemson's going to be able to finally put pressure on De'Aaron King that he hasn't seen yet, and we shall see. I like last year's offense, but Brett Venables, when dialed in, is one of the best in the game, especially when he has time. So, they can just mash your guys up and tell you, beat us, and beat us with your athletic quarterback. So it should be a fun game to watch. I have a little lounge that I partnered in Jacksonville, so I'll have all the games on here in Jacksonville. We'll be watching multiple games at the same time.
I do think that Miami has done their job in their first 3 games, but I don't think they've done anything spectacular. They've handedly beat UAB, they handedly beat Louisville, and they handedly beat us. They did what they were supposed to do for their first 3 games. So I think this will be the comeback to reality game. I think Miami has the potential to make it close, but I think in the end, I'm going to say Clemson 45, Miami 24. I think Clemson hands them a decent-sized win. But most importantly, watch FSU Notre Dame on your local NBC affiliate. Help us out. Give us NBC people a little money.
Just slightly more important than that, join me on Patreon with our predictions right there, and my top 25 that actually makes sense, exclusive live streams, and the whole deal. So it's right there. Grab it right there.
Watch us.
All right, gentlemen.
It's the one time every 3 or 4 years that we're on NBC. So come on, guys, help us out, please.
Gotcha, Mark.
Is that really going to affect you, Jason?
No, it doesn't.
I mean, it helps sales. People, our online stuff. It helps us out. Please.
Join.MarkRogersTV.com. Please go click that and join his Patreon.
Let's welcome Mark Rogers TV back. We missed you for the last couple of weeks. We're glad you're back with us. We're glad everything worked out with you. We wish you nothing but the best.
Sometimes you just have to say goodbye. You have to recognize the situation, read the tea leaves, talk to the man upstairs, talk to people you trust, and say, time to make a break, time to make a change, time to go for it, grab the opportunity, live out the vision. That's what you got to do. Ronan, thank you so much. And Ronan actually listens to me diss Miami at times, cut it clean, cut it straight, criticize when I feel it's deserved, set him straight, set everybody straight, and he still supports. And thank you so much for that, Ronan. Appreciate that. And that's after him contributing at the last live stream.
I thought Mark was going to quote some Boys to Men for a second, say it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Oh, that's what for a second. Yeah.
No, that one's beyond me. All right,
My
boys.
phone's about to die.
We appreciate it, James. You
James,
guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the football. Jason, you're 74 for 74.
And guess what? Next week, it'll be 75 for 75.
And if we include your post-game performance after the Miami game, 75 for 75.
Are we really doing that this week?
If you would like. If you would like.
I mean, I don't
you and Logan? Right after the ball game?
Yeah, but there's not going to be as many drunk delinquents.
Oh, you guys will. Well, it's a Notre Dame angle this time. You know, you'll have it. It'll be a different flavor of goodness there. SEC Dog, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate that.
I'm just happy the game's going on, that Notre Dame was able to finally get the COVID under control up there in South Bend. They had a little rash of it on the team. They had the game against Wake Forest postponed until later on in the season. So let's just be happy that this game is actually going to go on.
That's absolutely right. Again, SEC Dog and Ronan, thank you so much. Cheryl, appreciate your support always. You know that. We will see everybody next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time for Florida State Seminoles Live. Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. And we'll squeeze in John David's predictions of Miami 38-35. Are there any, I would love to know this, any non-Miami fans out there, non-Miami fans picking Miami to win the game?
Okay, I think Miami has the potential.
I do too.
But I think what will happen is I think Miami has not reached that point yet to where Miami, I think you're going to see a much better chance of Miami being like the 2017 ACC championship game where Miami ends up getting blown out than you do Miami coming out and being like the old Miami teams who used to go out and dominate the number one team in the country. I think Miami has the potential. I wonder if Clemson builds an early lead, like an early 2-touchdown lead, can Miami come back? That's going to be the big question.
Miami has always brought top 15 to 20 talent to the field since they've been down, I mean. And I outlined this several months ago, Jason, during a video post in which I just wanted to dispel the current elite program status that a lot of Miami fans think that they have. This program in the last 15 years has only won 57% of its games. That's an average season of 7-5. That's not elite. That's not anywhere close to that. Let this sink in, Jason. In the last 15 years, since the last time Miami finished in the top 10 in the final AP poll, 43 teams, 43 other schools have finished in the top. We're talking about 8 teams per conference. We're going deep into every conference. Miami is a great all-time program.
I have been inside Hard Rock Stadium when they beat Notre Dame. I have been inside Hard Rock Stadium when they've beaten ranked teams. I've also been inside Hard Rock Stadium when they've lost to Georgia Tech, when they've lost to Virginia Tech, I've been inside Marlins Park when they lost to FIU. I'm not saying Miami can't get back to beating Clemson, beating a top-ranked Clemson team, beating these top-ranked teams. I'm saying I don't think it happens this week. Do I think Miami can finish the season 10-1 and play Clemson again or play Notre Dame in the ACC championship game? Yes, I think Miami has that potential. Do I also think Miami has the potential to slip up a couple games over the course of the season? Yes. That's going to be the biggest question for Miami after this game. If Miami does lose to Clemson, which I think they do, does this loss linger? Does this loss linger when they play Pitt, when they play Virginia, when they play Virginia Tech, when they play North Carolina? Because if they let it linger like they have in the past, Miami can mess around and end up finishing 7-4. But if Miami doesn't let it linger, this is a Miami team that could make it to Charlotte and play in the ACC championship game.
So I'll finish my analysis with this. This is what I see different about Miami. Possibly, we have to see it played out on the field against this type of an opponent. But they have brought top 15 to 20 talent to the field year after year after year after year. Not elite talent, but very good teams in terms of a roster that should be going 9-3, 10-2 instead of 7-5, 6-6, what they've been doing the last 15 years. Okay, this what they have this year, though. They have a quarterback that's probably the best quarterback they've had, possibly since they won the national championship.
I don't think it's possible. I would argue that he's probably a better. Ken Dorsey was a good quarterback.
Sure.
Ken Dorsey was good. Ken Dorsey was not the Jim Kelly, the Vinny Testaverde,
No.
Toretta. He wasn't even close to being that. He had the benefit of having Andre Johnson, Roscoe Parrish at wide receiver. He had the benefit of having a backfield triumvirate of Willis McGahee, Clinton Portis, and later Frank Gore towards the second part of his career. He had Jeremy Shockey at tight end. He had that behemoth offensive line in front of him. They made Ken Dorsey look like a great quarterback when in actuality he was a good quarterback. De'Aaron King is doing good things at quarterback with an okay offensive line, a better offensive line than what they had last season, but he's dealing with young running backs and a wide receiver corp that is not anywhere close to Andre Johnson and Roscoe Parrish and those guys in the early 2000s. So I think De'Aaron King is doing more with what he has as opposed to Ken Dorsey, who was given a lot more credit than he probably should have been.
So to Will Sky's point, Brad Kaya was a very capable quarterback for 3 years. He should have come back for his fourth year. He didn't even make an NFL team. Ken Dorsey at least stuck around the league for 3 or 4 years, something in that range. So just to finish my point, we got top 15 to 20 talent with a better quarterback than we've seen in however many years, at least back to Brad Kaya. But we're talking about a dynamic playmaking quarterback who can run and get out of trouble. Kaya was basically a statue. Okay, the other portion of this is that even though they've only played, Jason, UAB's a very capable group of 5, but they're a top 70 type program.
Mm-hmm.
Louisville, many thought was a top 15 to 20 team in the country. They're not. They're more like top 40. We'll see how it plays out, but probably top 40, 45. And then Florida State, we're talking about an all-time great elite program, but this team, top 50 to 70 team. So Miami hasn't played this kind of competition, obviously. But it's not shocking
that Miami's 3-0. That's what I'm saying. It's not shocking that Miami has gone out and done their job. They went out and they've convincingly won the 3 games the way they're supposed to. Nobody said that Miami was going to be 2-1, 1-2 going into the Clemson game. A lot of people thought that Miami would be 3-0 going into Clemson. The question's going to be from after Clemson. I think there's a lot of people, even there's a decent amount of Miami fans down here, I'll give them credit, who think Miami does lose to Clemson tomorrow. The question is going to be after Clemson. The week after is when Pitt comes to town. Then Virginia comes to town after that. Can Miami put the Clemson loss behind them? Because that was their biggest problem during the 7-game losing streak to Florida State, is they would come in, they'd lose to Florida State, and they would start them on a losing streak after that because they couldn't get it past them. Can they get past losing that big game to Clemson and not let it linger?
Well, what's impressed me this year is that they're not just coming into this game at 3-0, having beaten 3 teams of those calibers that I just outlined by 7, 10, and 13 points. They dominated all the opponents, UAB in the second half, but they dominated the last 2, and Louisville was a 2 or 3 point favorite at home, and Miami was clearly the better team, crushed the last 2 opponents. So that, I think, on top of having the capable quarterback play, having a kicker, it may not matter in this game because they may lose by 15 or 20, but having a kicker that they haven't had for a number of years, they lost a number of games, North Carolina, Florida, and others last year because they didn't have a kicker. Now they got a guy that can boom 55-yarders.
He boomed a 53-yarder while he was part of FIU. I mean, let's be honest, against Miami last season. So yeah, that's just going to be the biggest question. Has Manny Diaz, because they are not the U. And sorry to piss off Miami fans here. The U is not back at this point. Yes, SEC dog, I do realize that. You also realize you haven't won a title since 1980. Moving on. The U is not back. The U is not close to being back at this point. The U has to win the ACC, which they have not done, before they can even be in the conversation about being back. They have to win their conference before they can even talk about being back. That's the first step towards even thinking that you can be back. So, yes, they can still lose this game and still make it to the ACC championship game the way things are working out this season. They cannot let this loss linger. They cannot, if Miami wants to be back, they cannot let a loss to Clemson linger, because that's been what has killed them the last 5, 6, 7 seasons.
Absolutely. Good stuff. It's been a good time as always. We'll be back next Tuesday night, everyone. Please lock it in here. And
we promise we will not talk as much about the Miami Hurricanes.
We won't. It will help if Florida State plays a decent game against Notre Dame. All right, everyone.
In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. It's what we do.
We shall see everyone next Tuesday. But, of course, lock it in. In the meantime, see you soon.